Nobody wants to be cold called. Nobody wants your spam filling up their inbox. And nobody's fooled when you friend request somebody on social media and then immediately make a pitch in their messages. None of these tactics work at scale to sell more high level. In this video, I'm going to show you the right way to market your services and do your prospecting so that you can sell more recurring revenue and grow an actual scalable and sellable business. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Mike with Services That Scale, and I have built multiple multi-seven-figure service businesses selling to the small business community. And I've done it through aggressive cold calling and cold email prospecting. And I've also done it through content marketing and pulling leads to me and doing effective follow-up and nurturing of those leads. So everything that I'm sharing with you in this video is from real experience that has worked and is proven and is based on the current realities that I'm seeing and experiencing in the marketplace myself today. To be clear and completely transparent, I am an affiliate of HighLevel, which means that I do get compensated if somebody signs up for HighLevel through me or upgrades their account through me. In exchange for that compensation, I provide training, resources, and a private community where I help agencies use HighLevel to build a successful business. I do want to just point out as well that this video is quite a bit longer than my usual YouTube videos. I just checked the editing and it looks like we're going to be close to 50 minutes long. The reason for that is I am really trying to give you a complete picture as to what your marketing plan should look like, including what content to create, how to come up with good content ideas, how to do cold prospecting, how to do lead nurturing and follow up properly. It's a pretty complete picture and it just takes some time. So I hope you appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get on to the video. If you're looking for strategies on how to grow your business around HighLevel, you've no doubt seen endless numbers of YouTube videos of people claiming that you can just follow a simple cold call script or automate a flood of emails by buying a database of email addresses and then using an automated tool to just spam the heck out of them, and that this is the way that you're going to grow your business. Those tactics may have worked with some reasonable degree of success 10, 15 years ago when people weren't completely flooded with people cold calling them and spamming them every day, but those tactics are ignored by everybody today. I mean, let me ask you, when was the last time that somebody cold called you and you were happy to receive it, you heard the message, and ended up in a long-term relationship with them as a customer? Or when was the last time somebody spammed you in your messages on social media and you ended up buying from them and were a happy long-term customer? Can it happen? Yes, it can happen. It happens a very, very small percentage of the time. Is this a way to build your business? Absolutely not. Now, I want to make sure I'm clear. This is coming from somebody who built multiple businesses doing aggressive cold outbound prospecting. I had teams of people doing cold calls. Up to 300 cold calls a day was typical. I also did large outbound email marketing campaigns. But those tactics were hard to do 10, 12 years ago. They're really nearly impossible to do now when everybody has set up as many defenses as they possibly can to avoid being interrupted by people that they don't want to hear from. Am I saying that cold outbound prospecting can't work anymore? No, I am not saying that. Of course, it still can work to some degree, but there is a right way to do it, which I'll show you in this video, so that you're not building your business as effectively a spammer or using short-term gimmicks that aren't going to last. So what does work? The answer to that question lies in the fact that you are watching this YouTube video. What works in today's world is content marketing that is used to attract prospects to you based on adding value in your message of that content. That is the playbook for marketing and sales success in today's world. I think if you look at the last 10 products or services that you've purchased yourself, you will realize that almost all of your purchases now come from seeing something on social media where a piece of content was created that attracted you to learn more about that product or service. This is the way that products and services are sold in today's world. If you look at any role model business that you admire and you study what is it that they're doing to grow their business, it's content marketing. That's what works. I mean, look at HighLevel itself. HighLevel is about 6 years old. It's had explosive growth, and they literally have had almost no sales team working at their business full time. How have they done it? They've done it through affiliates like myself who are working to promote their excellent software, and they've done it through educational marketing on their YouTube channel, in their Facebook group, in their community, and through live events. That is what has propelled their growth and their success. This was largely pioneered by HubSpot. Look at the huge company that HubSpot has become by making a massive investment in content so that they would be found all over the search engines and all over social media. And that's created now this lead generation moat for them where they're able to attract so many customers at a much lower cost than their competitors, which is why they've become such a monster of a competitor in the CRM space. So what does an effective marketing plan look like to generate leads and fill your pipeline with opportunities and ultimately sales? Well, let me show you the 90-day marketing plan that I share with the agencies that I work with. Now, this is a 90-day marketing plan solely to put the focus on the first 90 days of your marketing effort. I think building any business, I refer to it like getting a train pulling out of a station, right? A train is very, very heavy, and getting that initial momentum to get the train moving down the tracks requires a lot of energy. But once that train is moving down the tracks, it's got momentum of its own. It's much easier to keep rolling. And my experience is that a business is exactly the same way. And you've got to put that really concentrated effort into first 90 days. So this marketing plan will be your marketing plan actually beyond the 90 days. But this is a visual scorecard to use to really put the emphasis on establishing the routine of running this marketing plan for that first 90 days. So when I say it's a visual scorecard, what I recommend that you do is that you print this, you put it up on the wall for the month that you're working in, and then you literally put an X over these things as you do them, just to give you that visual reminder every single day and to give you that opportunity to get a win at the end of every day where you're demonstrating to yourself, okay, I did what I needed to do to keep this thing moving down the tracks. So what does good marketing look like though when you're trying to actually attract prospects instead of being a cold prospecting pest that really people don't want to hear from? And it starts at the top there with content. Okay, content is your opportunity to demonstrate your expertise, build your brand, show authority, show that you can be a guide and build that trust as a guide to the prospects who are potentially interested in working with you. This is the way marketing is done in today's world. And this is the way that sales is done in today's world, by people consuming your content and selling themselves or getting really close to selling themselves based on that relationship that they're building with you and that trust that they're building with you through your content. So a content post of some sort every week is the goal. And you can see here that that top row is divided into 4. That's to represent 4 weeks in a month. It doesn't matter to me whether it's a written blog post or LinkedIn post, or it's a video that you put up on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. It really does not matter the format to me, as long as you can effectively use that format in a channel to reach your prospects. And most small businesses are in every channel these days, which is why you see people having success marketing on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. Is there a best one? There most likely is not a best one. Some niches, some audiences do tend to be heavier in one particular channel than others, but for the most part, the markets are massive in every one of these channels, and any format can work. What's important is that you pick a content format that you're comfortable with and that you will do consistently. So create that content every single week. Now, one of the biggest hangups that people have when they create content, especially when they're getting started and they don't really have an organic audience yet, is that they create this content, they put all the work into it, and then they see that it gets like 15 views or something like that. And that can be a serious letdown, of course, which is why that second row, it says ads to content. Okay, I have what I call my prime the pump ad system. And this is just using a very low budget to back up that piece of content to start building your audience, to prime the pump. So if you've never heard that phrase before, it just means that sometimes you need to put a little extra work into the pump to get it going. And then once it's going, it works effectively. So what we're doing is we are priming our audience growth by putting a little bit of money behind that piece of content. I'm talking just like $5 a day to boost that content for a period of time, to get your audience to see it, start getting that engagement and interaction.
and then people ultimately opting in to your list so that they can keep in touch and continue to hear from you. So that next row, again, is ads to content. And then I suggest that you have ads to the next step in your sales process, whatever that is for you. For most people, I recommend that you are sending them to some sort of call booking so that they can get on your calendar and have a conversation with you. And that's all. So just something very, very simple like that. Now, through this activity, you're going to get people that are opting into your email list. You want to have an offer to subscribe to a newsletter everywhere. On your website, on your social posts, you always want to get people onto your list. And you should be sending a newsletter out, ideally every single week, to your customers. All that newsletter has to be is a recap of the content that you posted that week, because not everybody will have seen it, and then some sort of offer. And that offer, again, can just be a nice soft offer to take you up on the next step in the sales process, to have a conversation with your team, to learn more, and see if there's a fit for using these types of strategies at your business. Ideally, that goes out every week. We all know how effective email newsletters are at staying in front of people, building brand, building trust, and getting people to take action with that call to action on that offer. The fourth row you see there, webinars, networking events, lunch and learns, networking events, okay? Educating your prospects is one of the best ways to sell. And if you can educate through a webinar or some sort of lunch and learn in person, which is essentially an in-person webinar, that's a really powerful way to demonstrate your expertise and to build a list. Obviously, a lunch and learn takes a little more execution in terms of, logistics. You've got to get a place, you've got to make sure there's some food, that type of thing. So don't feel pressure to do that right out of the gate, but they are very powerful. That human connection can really, really enhance your marketing, because most people are not doing anything with human connection these days. So it can really make you stand out. Webinars obviously are a proven way of demonstrating your expertise, building that trust, building that authority. Very easy for people to attend or get replays. These take practice, they take work to get people registered and to actually show up, but it's a really valuable thing to commit to. Don't expect miracles early, but if you continue doing it over time, you're going to get really good at it, and they're going to be a very, very effective sales tool. I put networking events in there because I think if you're marketing particularly to a local audience, like I live in San Diego, I should be out in the market in San Diego, because it just helps your business. It helps in all kinds of ways for people to actually see your face. You're going to make those spontaneous connections with people that you only make when you're out, in person. I don't put a lot of emphasis on those being any sort of actual sales event for me. I don't go out with a lot of pressure to collect certain numbers of business cards or anything like that. I just like to go out there and naturally interact with people. And then you'll see 3 rows of SPs. SP stands for social post. Obviously, social media is incredibly important, and being active on social media is one of the best ways to build your audience and stay in front of your audience. So we should be doing some sort of social post every single day, ideally. It doesn't have to be some really well thought through post on your made feed on Instagram where you're putting a ton of thought into it. It can be just something more casual, more informal, a day in the life of what you're doing, just showing the things that you're interacting with throughout your day. Posting to your stories so that your current audience can see, again, more casual content, but just staying in front of people, showing that activity, using it as an opportunity to demonstrate some more authority. It's critical that we're active on social media, okay? If you have not run a consistent marketing plan ever, this is going to seem like a lot of work to you, and it is a lot of work, okay? I'm not somebody who pushes some easy button solutions that you think that you're just going to sit on the beach and miracles are going to happen. Building a business is hard work. It's always been hard work. It's still hard work. Yes, it is much easier today with the technology and tools that we have available to us, and we should use every single one of them to make all of this as efficient as possible. But it is still hard work. The thing that's going to matter the most in attracting prospects and building your audience is that you are actually contributing to it. You're showing some personality. You're showing some thought leadership. That's what's going to differentiate you from people just doing automated blasts and spam. And so you've got to actively participate in this. And again, for this first 90 days, it's going to feel tough. At the very beginning, it's going to feel really tough. And maybe in the first 2 weeks, you don't get half of these things done. But if you continue and commit to it and continue, you are going to get more and more of it done. And by the end of 90 days, you've probably got a pretty solid routine going, and you've got a lot of people on your list. You've got a pipeline that's now got some healthy activity. You've probably got your first handful of deals and a handful of deals more that are ready to sign. And most importantly, you now have a system in place that you can execute regularly that's going to continue to attract people rather than having you relying on using spammy outbound techniques. So build an actual marketing system like this, and you're building an asset at your business that's going to work for you for years to come. Now, what you didn't see on that marketing plan was a bunch of cold prospecting. And cold prospecting is marketing. It's not sales. It's reaching out to people, trying to get your message heard and get that first sign of engagement so that you ultimately get somebody into your sales process. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing cold prospecting. Cold prospecting can still work, especially when done effectively. I do think it is the least efficient, most time consuming, and most annoying way to grow your business. But it does have a purpose, especially in the early days while you're getting that marketing system up and running and getting it effective. There's a period of time there where your marketing system isn't going to be working miracles for you yet, and you've got an opportunity with your time to do some outbound cold prospecting that's really going to be effective. But I wanted to show you this because I think that this illustrates the right way to do this. This is a recent post from somebody summarizing the Y Combinator. That's what YC stands for, Y Combinator, advice to their startups on what's working right now in terms of outbound prospecting. If you're not familiar with Y Combinator, you should look them up. I know it's an unusual name. They're one of the most successful startup catalysts or accelerators and investors ever in the marketplace. They put very small amounts of money into founders and then work with them on a really practical, tactical level every day to get the business launched and get it as valuable as possible before they go and look for any additional outside funding. And they've been incredibly successful because they are very hands-on. So they have a lot of execution experience and advice for their founders. And look at this right now. This is, again, just 23 days ago. And here's a YC success case study of hyper-specific micro campaigns to drive a ton of B2B sales. You can see 2 million in annual recurring revenue in 3 months. I'm not suggesting that you're going to do anywhere near that, but I do think that the process is still the right one. You can see here, start with tiny lists. Instead of massive CSVs with 10,000 plus prospects, use lists so specific, the list itself basically writes the messaging, okay? Your messaging is so important. You want to have a message that is dialed in for the prospect that you're speaking with, which is one of the major problems of doing these huge blasts to 10,000 people using all automated systems. And I know people, will stress in their pitch that you can use personalization of the messages. I'm pretty sure you've experienced how that personalization can be actually really weak and sometimes even work against you because the message is so weird and awkward and they've just kind of stuck your name in places to try and make it personalized. Instead, actually create a message that's dialed into an audience and personalize it. When you're getting your business started, you've got time. Maximize that time to try to get a really effective message in front of the right audience. It says list equals messaging. Because the list criteria are so tight, the email angle should be super relevant right off the bat. Less generic BS, more I saw you specifically did X. Multi-channel punch. Upload the same micro lists for LinkedIn connection requests directly from founder profiles. Accepted connections equals relevant manual DM. So again, don't use the spammy automated messaging response systems where you can put a cookie cutter message in there. It's annoying. People can see right through it. Hit email plus LinkedIn in the same short window. This is incredibly important. You want to come at people from different angles, still in a very relevant and personalized way, but different angles really increase your chances of actually getting through. Founder content. So that's you, right? Being involved in the content of your business. 4 to 5 valuable LinkedIn pieces weekly, wins, insights, even personal stuff, keeps you top of mind and builds authority, okay? So like I said, it doesn't all have to be educational authority pieces. It can be personal stuff. It can be behind the scenes stuff. And again, it doesn't have to be on LinkedIn. It can be whatever channel it is that you're working to reach your audience. And then engage your outbound. Scrape LinkedIn posts, likes, commenters. Now, it says scrape. I don't like that word because, again, that just creates this vision of all these automated tools doing everything for you. Essentially, all they're saying is find the people who are actually engaging with your content, enrich it, which just means try and get as much information about them as you can. You can use the data service, try and get their phone number, email, address, all that. And then run another targeted outbound sequence if they fit your ideal customer profile. Basically, hey, saw you like my post on X, thought you might find Y interesting. Notice that they're not just jumping right into a sale. Thought you might find Y interesting. What they're trying to do there is add some additional value. You got some value out of this post, thought you might find this post or this guide or this additional content, this presentation that I did helpful. They are building trust, adding value, showing thought leadership rather than just going for the super aggressive sale. This is incredibly important because you are trying to build a long-term relationship with a prospect. Long-term relationships don't get sold in quick spammy messages. They get sold by building up trust and having authority. So in summary, it's all about creating a wall of sound with high quality, relevant touches, not just volume. More upfront work on list building and personalization, but way fewer crickets and way more actual meetings booked. More targeting, less blasting. What's important is when you're doing your outbound prospecting that you are making sure that you're adding some value and some personalization to your approach, as was stressed with Y Combinator. Here's a framework that I use to make sure that my content and outreach is on point. And you can see here, this is over like a 2-week period. And what I recommend that you do is that for each prospect that you're trying to connect with, try and connect with them over a 10-day to 2-week period, and then let it rest a little bit, right? If they haven't responded to you by then, if they haven't engaged by then, recycle that lead in another 90 days or so. So that way you've got a database of people that you're consistently reaching out to, but that you're not just chasing the same ones endlessly. You got to give them a little bit of a break. During that break, some things may change for them. Some things may change about your messaging. It gives you a different opportunity after 90 days to reconnect with them in a way that's actually going to get engagement. So in this 2-week period though, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your messaging is relevant. So I use this framework just as a primer to make sure that the way I'm reaching out with my scripts or my emails is going to get as much engagement as possible and add value at the same time. So you can see day 1, I'm doing just like an introductory script or email. Day 4, circling back if I haven't heard back from them and just saying, hey, just want to make sure you had seen this. The circle back, you only want to do that like once. A lot of salespeople just circle back. Hey, has anything changed? Hey, did you read this? Hey, has anything changed? Hey, did you read this? That gets really old. It's not adding any value. So instead, what I then start doing is making sure that I'm using the content, the exact same content that you created in your content marketing plan. You're taking bits and pieces of that and you're using that in your messaging for your outreach. So day 6, pain and promise. That could be, again, the messaging around the Facebook ads. What we found is that a lot of our customers struggle with getting ROI from their Facebook ads. They were experiencing these 3 specific pains. What we showed them, what we've been able to show them through these key insights is how you can actually manage your Facebook ad campaigns without any struggle, without paying expensive management fees and still get a positive ROI. I'd love to tell you more, okay? Day 8, purpose. This is more of like the purpose around your business and your services. Why does it exist? Who is it that you're helping? What is maybe the bigger reason behind what you're doing? Humanizing you, personalizing you, telling a little bit more about maybe the origin of your business and why it exists. Day 11 is position. That's why or how you are different from your competitors in the marketplace. So using that as a core of your messaging. Day 15, proof. If you have some case studies and testimonials, fantastic. If you don't, using some of that third-party data to demonstrate proof that your service does actually have real benefits for your customers. Day 18, potential, stressing how their business could be transformed by an effective solution to their current problems, allowing them to reach their goals. Again, this is just prompts for a structure. It's not to say that you have to follow this literally on these exact days. And it's also not to say that the day 6 email wouldn't contain proof as well. Just because day 15 says proof, yeah, put proof into every email that you can. That's fine. I'm just saying that these are prompts to help you to make sure that your outreach is actually going to add value and that you're mixing up your messaging in a way that's going to give you different angles to reach your prospects. Managing all this effectively can be difficult, even with a tool like HighLevel, which isn't really designed for doing that outbound prospecting. So if you're going to do outbound prospecting, I really highly recommend that you use tools to your advantage because it's a tough process. It's a grind. So anything that you can do to give you some leverage, I think that you should use, again, as long as it's not just completely automated spam. My favorite tool for doing this, I used a tool called Phone Burner forever, but Kixi is a newer one into the market. They've got some really great technology. They're more affordable than Phone Burner. And most importantly for me and many of my customers, it integrates natively with HighLevel. You can see that link down there. That is an affiliate link. I really don't make much money off of working with them at all, but what they will do is give you a little bit of higher touch service if they know that you came through me, because I've developed a relationship with them. So if you're interested in it, I recommend that you use that. But what this does is this just creates complete efficiency in this whole outbound process. So just as a simple example, instead of dialing one person at a time, with Kixi, you can dial up to like 10 people at a time, and its system will determine who actually picks up the phone first, and then it will end the dialing on all the other calls. So you can be calling 10 numbers at once. That obviously gives you a ton of leverage to actually reach people. So this is the type of tool that enhances your outbound process while still having you involved, doing the work, not completely automated, so that you can personalize your outreach at the same time. And again, works natively with HighLevel to integrate and make sure that you're capturing all of your notes and data and history and manage recycling those prospects over that 90 days. So this is the right way to do outbound if you're going to do it. And again, it has value when done right, and particularly in that first 90 days while you're firing up that content marketing process. What's really working is not just spamming. It's being thoughtful. It's creating content that actually has trust and authority and relevance, and using your outbound in combination with your content to really connect with people. Is it a little bit more work? Yes. But again, during that first 90 days, that content marketing plan that I shared with you, that takes you a couple of hours a day maybe, okay? Especially now that we have AI to help us create the content and distribute the content, it's really not that time consuming to do some marketing. So you get that done, that leaves you a lot of hours left in the day that you can be doing much more personalized research and personalized outreach to businesses that can actually benefit from your message, making sure that your message is tailored, making sure that it's adding value, and building that trust and real connection. And when you do that, it is going to pay off long term, okay? It's not just this spammy, annoying outbound process that you hear so often pushed in today's world because it sounds easy to just turn on your automation and let it run, okay? Now, the next question that I often get is, what content should I be producing? How do I know what content is actually going to be relevant to my audience? And then the other big question I get is, if my content marketing plan is working, I'm starting to generate some leads, how do I actually follow up with these leads and convert them into sales? And I'm going to answer both of those questions next. Okay, so how do you make sure that you're creating good, relevant content that's actually going to get your audience engaged? Let me show you the approach that I share and what I call my content blitzkrieg system. Good messaging when you're selling to businesses is going to give them insights that are going to help them understand how they're going to achieve their goals. I mean, that's the whole reason that they're hiring you, is that they have goals that they want to achieve that they are struggling with. So the insights that you can share based on your experience, based on your knowledge, your thought leadership, is what's going to attract them. This is called insight selling. It's a framework that was developed by some friends of mine. It's incredibly valuable and keeps you focused on the major content topics that are really going to drive interest in you and your services. So let me just show you a visual approach here to understanding this. You can see on the far left here, there's a current state problem that your customer has. And in this particular case, let's just use this as an example that they are struggling with getting ROI from doing Facebook ads. They've tried Facebook ads, but they can't seem to make any money doing it. The future state solution on the far right that they would like to get to is getting some positive ROI. Okay, so let's just say that part of your solution is that you're going to help them with getting ROI from their Facebook ad campaigns. On the way from going to the current state problem to the future state solution, if you can imagine that someone was a brand new amateur Facebook advertiser on day 1, and by day 90, they want to be a Facebook advertising pro. There are certain insights that they would have to really learn along the way. And those insights could be how to write good ads, how to structure your Facebook ad campaigns correctly for ROI, as you can see here on topic number 2 there on the bottom. A third one could be how to test properly. So let's just say that those are the 3 insights that you think are most valuable for somebody to learn how to go from no ROI to positive ROI. Those are 3 core messages then that you could create content around that would be really, really valuable and really intriguing for a small business who's trying to figure this out. So those 3 core messages can be built on with content in a variety of different ways. So as an example, to help you brainstorm the content, each one of those insights you can see here, you can create endless content around. And here are some prompts to kind of help you think about that content. What they don't want you to know, right? Creating an enemy. So what those expensive ad management agencies don't want you to know about getting ROI from your Facebook ad campaigns. Objection responses. Objection responses are great content. If you are running into people's objections consistently and you know that they have this thought in their head that is preventing them from really understanding your solution or adopting your solution, you can create content that addresses those objections. Questions you should ask. Here are the questions you should ask of any agency that you're considering to hire to run your Facebook ads. Frequently asked questions. There's all kinds of questions that a prospect could have that you could help answer. Epiphany moments. So these are more personal. These are those moments where you first experience, getting an ROI on your ad campaign, and you realize it was because you actually wrote effective copy or did an effective testing solution. You realize that didn't have to be that difficult. Here's your solution to it now. So it's kind of a personalized message. And then those 3 major teaching insights or secrets, those are the ones that we went through on that timeline. You can create endless content by just using these prompts around those insights and around that core topic of how to get ROI from your Facebook ads without hiring a manager. Now, I should say all of this, obviously, you can take these prompts and use them in AI to generate a whole host of really effective subject lines, write the content itself, put together a presentation for you, whatever you want to do. Don't think that this all has to come out of your own head. But I do suggest, again, we don't think that we're just going to automate everything. So even if you have ChatGPT or your favorite AI help you write this, you should still be involved in the editing to make sure it's as personalized and as relevant and as accurate as possible. And so now we can see what this would look like. Again, using this core topic of how to get ROI from your Facebook ads, you can see I've just put some examples there of the kind of content that we could create. What agencies don't want you to know is that you simply structure your campaigns properly and the Facebook AI will do most of the work for you. Mythbusters, the 7 common reasons we hear business owners say they're afraid to manage their own Facebook ad campaigns. We prove them wrong. 11 questions you must ask anyone before hiring them to run your Facebook ad campaigns. The 3 secrets to setting up your Facebook ad campaigns properly that practically guarantee positive ROI. You can see these are some nice, attractive headlines and subject lines that are going to get the attention of someone that is struggling with their Facebook ads because they are directly relevant to that person. So you want to make sure that you really know who your customer is and tie the problems that they're having to the solution that you're offering. Once you do that, creating content, especially with the use of AI to help assist you, is pretty darn simple. And the number of good content topics that you can come up with is almost endless. Now, I also want to illustrate the scenario of, what if you are someone who's just getting started in this agency business and you don't have a lot of experience? You're not a Facebook ad management pro, so you can't share these personalized insights. Well, you can tie your services and the solutions that you're generating for these businesses to the capabilities of HighLevel and still make this work by using third-party data. So let's just say, as an example, one of the offers that we're going to put out into the marketplace is to do the AI chatbot through HighLevel to help small businesses respond more quickly and accurately to prospects and customers who visit their site to get that engagement. We know that's incredibly valuable. You don't have to be a guru of AI chat to be able to offer that, because HighLevel has created such a nice solution. But still, most small businesses are not educated about this stuff. They don't know what they don't know. So they don't even know these solutions are available to them. So what you can do is you can use AI to do some research for you. So you can see here, I just put in a simple prompt that says, hey, I'm marketing this type of services to small businesses. Can you please help me with some research so I have some good insights and stats to share in my marketing and sales? And it very, very quickly, this is without using deep research or anything like that, pulls together some really helpful data and some really helpful insights that I can use as the foundation of my marketing message. And then you can see ChatGPT has gotten so good at this now that not only did it pull together these helpful stats, but it pulled some messaging angles, some real world benefits, some tips for building trust and urgency in my sales process. And then it says, would you like to use, or would you like a ready to use pitch deck, one pager, or email copy next? I can craft those next. And yes, of course, we love that. But also you could say yes, and give me 15 relevant headlines for blog posts that utilize these insights and stats. And then it will give you those headlines, and you can say, okay, now let's take 3 or 5 of these and have it help you write some really solid, compelling posts based on that information.
So I want to stress that when you're just getting started, you don't have to be a marketing guru. You don't have to be an expert. You can still create really good content by having AI help you with some of that research of that third-party data that's out there that demonstrates the value of your services. Then, of course, as you develop expertise, as you develop those insights from working with your customers and those case studies of success from working with your customers, you're going to have more unique personal things to share over time. But don't let it stop you at the beginning. You just use that third-party data that's relevant to the solutions that you're selling to help you create good content. It still works very, very well. All right, now once our marketing process is generating some people onto our list and generating some leads for us, this is where we've got to do the really smart follow-up to make sure that we're actually converting these people into interested opportunities, into our sales process. This is where automation plays a really powerful role, because it's incredibly hard to follow up effectively with new leads and prospects unless you've got some good automation going. But it's also the place, again, for more personalized outreach. Getting somebody on the phone in today's world is still a very effective way to sell them. But again, it is much more effective and easy to do that once they have already raised their hand and said, yes, I'm interested. I'm interested in your content. This is relevant to me. Then you do the follow-up and reach out with them. I call this approach the chase formula, and I'm going to show you the best way to do it now. Okay, so the chase formula, again, is all about following up on your new leads to make sure that you get the best chance to convert them into actual sales opportunities. And what I'm showing you here is some data that is from a company called Velocify. This is some of the first data that I had found many years ago on how important it is to follow up with your leads quickly and consistently over a condensed period of time. And this is what I use to design my chase formula approach that has been incredibly effective for me and many, actually thousands of other businesses. This is a really powerful thing to set up for yourself. It's also a really powerful thing to set up as part of your service for your customers, because most small businesses are really bad at this. You can see the data on the left there about the impact of speed to call on conversion. So if you get a new lead and you call that lead within 1 minute, you have a 391% better chance of converting that lead into an opportunity than somebody that waits just a day to get in touch with them. So this is really important for businesses where there's some urgency to the lead, like home services, like plumbing and things like that. Like if they don't get a message back or a call back from a plumber very quickly,
they're just going to be on to the next plumber. So some businesses are really incredibly sensitive to this. And then you can see the next one is the optimal number of call attempts to actually get through to that lead. And you can see on the first call, 48% get through, 70%, 81%. Now, the reality is that most salespeople, if you just leave it to them, will stop after 1 to 2 calls. And you can see that the optimal place to stop is not until you've actually made 6. That's when the line kind of flattens out and your improvement beyond that is really pretty marginal. But until then, you are leaving a lot of opportunity on the table. And so you've got to have a process in place to make sure that you're actually following up. This is something that's easily done in HighLevel. One of the incredibly powerful things about HighLevel is you just design a workflow to do this, and you can schedule then follow-up emails, follow-up SMS, and follow-up phone calls. So you can see on the far right here, here's what an optimal call strategy would look like. And this is just focused on the calls for now. But day 1, first, second, and third attempt, all on day 1. And then day 5, 4th, day 14, 5th, day 15, 6th. Now, I don't know that you have to follow that exact spread between day 1 and day 5 and day 14. But the point is that you need to make a lot of attempts in that first day in particular and in a concentrated period of time to give you the best opportunity to actually reach your prospects and get a conversation with them. Now, when you combine it with SMS and email to make sure that you're reaching out to people in as many ways as possible to get them to engage, it could look something like this. Day 1, SMS and call immediately to the lead, an email sent to them, another call. Day 4, SMS or messenger and email. Day 5, call and email. You get the point. We're going to do a concentrated push over a period of time. Now, I don't recommend that you use this for every single person that, say, opts into your newsletter, right? An opt into a newsletter is a very soft level of engagement. You don't want to pounce on them so aggressively that now they're fearful to ever interact with you again. But if somebody opts in to say that they would like more information on a particular topic and that they're open to a follow-up call, that type of thing, then this is the type of pursuit, the type of chase that you want to use to make sure that you actually have the best chance of reaching those prospects. And again, you can't manage all of this effectively unless you're using tools and automation, and you need to combine that with phone calls where you're actually giving that personal touch. Getting somebody on the phone, having a good conversation with them is still one of the most effective ways to actually move somebody through the sales process. That is how you actually fill your pipeline with leads and opportunities that convert into sales. It's by doing effective pull marketing, using content, establishing trust, establishing yourself as an authority, doing proper follow-up of the leads that you get, and yes, doing a concentrated outbound marketing push, using cold email, using cold calls for a limited period of time while you get that content marketing engine really going. But after you get that going, it's about continuing to pull people in through that content marketing, continuously expanding your breadth and depth of the reach to your prospects in the marketplace, and really continuing to compound that trust over time, establishing yourself as the real player in your market, and then doing effective nurturing and follow-up. That's what it's about. Then you don't have to do all this automated cold outbound nonsense that is otherwise known as spam, okay? I know this is a lot. I hope that it's helpful for you. Building a business is hard damn work. Anybody that says that it's not is full of BS and is trying to sell you something. This is the way that you do it, all right? This is the way that you build a business that's actually going to last and have real value and have real trust and authority in the marketplace. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments down below. I answer them all personally. Please subscribe to my channel. Please share this with anybody that you think would get some value out of it. I appreciate your time that you took in watching this. There's information about my bonus for HighLevel down below. If any of this resonates with you, in my bonus, you get my entire system for building a profitable and scalable agency, including everything that we just covered here in real detail. You can get information on that in the URL down below here and also in the description of this video. Thank you again. We'll see you on a future video.